guys, what's up? Welcome back. So today we're going to be reviewing and doing a tutorial on the new palette by Hush. So they just came out with this Atlantis palette and it's supposed to be a dupe to the Tarte, what was it, the ICY BETCH? BETCH? I don't know. But it was a palette that Tarte came out with on April Fool's Day and it did not ever exist. So Hush ended up coming out with their own little palette that's supposed to mimic the ICY BETCH, or whatever you call that palette. It's a non-existent palette, so it really don't matter. So just to rewind back to the whole Tarte situation with their palette that they fooled us with. So most of you know, I'm pretty sure most of you know, that they came out with this picture on Instagram and on their Twitter, and it was everywhere pretty much. And Trend Mood posted it as well. I think Trend Mood posted it. But it was a palette with blues, greens, teals. It was just a really pretty palette and it was so different than anything that they have ever came out with, and everybody liked it. Like everybody was like, oh my God, I cannot wait to get this. This looks good. It looks good. I need it in my life. It just looks good. That palette never came about. It never existed. They never created it. And then Hush came around and created their own little dupe to it, which is so funny to me because you guys know Hush always comes out with dupes to the high-end palettes. Some of you don't really like the fact that brands mimic other brands with cheaper products, but then there are some of you, like myself, who honestly don't even mind it, because there are some of us who don't want to spend so much money on the real deal. We just want something that's affordable, but at the same time, it looks very similar, if not the same. And sometimes I don't want to spend so much money on a palette. I want something that's a little bit cheaper that looks the same as that high-end palette. So today's video, I'm gonna show you guys this little tutorial that I created and also do some swatches so you guys can see how they swatch, the pigmentation, and just to see how they perform on the eyes in general. And once we get done doing the swatches and the tutorial, I'm gonna come back and let you guys know the price of the palette, my thoughts on the palette, and if you guys should get it or not. So if you guys are interested in seeing this tutorial and also some swatches on this little bad boy, then let's go ahead and jump right in. All right, so this is the palette, very cute. And then once you open it up, you have 12 different shades in here. So you have a mixture of mattes and also some metallics. And I also noticed that there is one shade in here, it's called Tsunami. And this one looks like a pressed glitter. I don't know, we'll see once we start swatching the palette. And it actually feels really sturdy too. It doesn't feel cheap at all. So let's go ahead and do some swatches because I am really curious to see if these are gonna be creamy, if they're gonna be pigmented. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start out with this first row right here. The first shade is called White Caps, and that is this white shade. It's like there's no way around it. It's just a true white shadow. Okay, it is a little patchy, but it does go on pretty smooth. I don't know, but there's ripples right there. I'm gonna touch it up just a little bit more so you guys can see that color a little bit more. It's not like that chalky, gritty texture. So far the mattes are doing pretty good and it feels really oh, whoa. That is a really pretty color. But what I was saying is it feels really silky to the touch. Here is the next one right there. Ooh, I like that one. And the very last shade in this row looks really, really pretty. This is called Stormy Waters, and it is so pretty. Like, these colors are gorgeous. So pretty. Ooh, yes. I'm just gonna do 2 layers of those swatches. This next shade is called Deep Sea, and this is a really deep teal. Look at that. So far these are all of the mattes. We do have one more matte to swatch, and that's actually gonna be the very last shade in this palette. But so far these are all 6 of the mattes, minus that one that we're gonna swatch in a few minutes. So next we're gonna swatch this metallic in here. So I'm super excited to see how this is going to look. Ooh, this is pretty. See how this one swatched. Oh my God. Now onto this glittery color right here, and I feel like this may be a little chunky. really pretty. Look at that. Let's swatch it on the arm and see how it looks. And this one is another metallic. I am very impressed with these swatches, you guys. Like, this is a really light metallic teal. Yes. And this cobalt blue, y'all. Honestly, I think that one was probably the best, like the best swatch. Like it went on really creamy. There was not much fallout when I dipped my finger in it. It's like, it literally looks like a cream when I swatched it. Like, do y'all see that? And the very last one is the last matte. And this is a really deep, like navy blue. And I don't think I have ever tried, or I don't think I own a palette with this type of blue, like a matte navy blue. I don't think I do. Go ahead and swatch this one. Okay, that one went on nice. Put another layer on there. Yes. This is the palette that I needed in my collection. I don't own anything like this that has all of these shades in one. So this is definitely what my collection needed, and I am very impressed. Now let's do a look. So I have never used a blue or any type of different color other than like a burnt orange or a nude or something that's kind of the same color as my skin tone for my transition shade. So we're just gonna try out using one of these mattes. I think I'm going to go into Deep Sea and use this in my crease and just dip it into Deep Sea, and there is a lot of product on there, so I didn't really have to dip it in there too much. And I'm just gonna put it in the crease. Look at that pigmentation though, like, look at that. You definitely don't have to use a lot of product with this. I honestly don't know how this is gonna come out, but we will see once we get done. I'm gonna stop really quick and put on a little bit of powder because I'm starting to get hot and I don't want my makeup to sweat off too quick before we get done with this tutorial. So I'm just gonna put on a little bit of powder. This is the Marc Jacobs setting powder, and put it on this area of my face because this is where I tend to start sweating the most. That way my makeup won't look too shiny or too greasy. Now let's dip into Empire, which is this really dark navy blue, and I'm just gonna put this all over the lids. And I wanna use the shorter side of this brush. This is more dense, so that way I can pick up more product. So I'm just gonna pick up more product on this side and just tap it all over the lid. It's a good thing I put on some of that powder because this shadow is starting to fall on my face a little bit right there. I know it looks crazy right now, but we are gonna blend that part right there where it looks like it needs blending. So just bear with me. Now I'm gonna pick up my pencil shader brush from my brush set and go back into the first shade that we used. So this teal color right here, and dip that brush in there and also go back into the crease. So that way I can blend the crease into that dark blue that we applied. This just gives me more control with my brush because it's so tiny, but it does a great job with blending anything on the eyes really. All right, now I wanna go into my bottom lash line with a blue eyeliner. And this is a kind of like a navy blue eyeliner. It's by The Balm and it's in the shade Say More Compliments. This is what it looks like for those of you who are wondering. And this is a really pretty deep midnight blue. It is so pretty. I think it'll go perfect with this look. Look at that, it's so pretty. Now I'm gonna go back into Empire, which is this dark navy blue, and just blend that, kind of smoke out my bottom lash line with this color. Now I wanna go into this glitter shade right here and put this on the inner corner of my tear ducts. And I'm definitely gonna wet my brush with this because this one is like, it's a lot of fallout, especially, oh yeah, it's a lot of fallout. So I'm just gonna go ahead and wet my brush. And I'm gonna drag it kind of towards the bottom lash line as well so it can kind of connect. Oh. And to brighten up the the inner corner right in this area, I'm gonna go into Tidal. And that is this like an icy blue. And I'm just gonna take a little bit of this and just to brighten it up right in this area because I feel like it's a little too dark. See, that just gives it more of a pop. All right, so this is all that I'm gonna do with the eyes except for the lashes and mascara. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply those really quick and I'll be right back. All right, so this is what everything looks like once the lashes are on. And let me just tell you, the lashes just really brought this look together. So now I'm just gonna apply a little bit of blush, and this is the blush by e.l.f. Cosmetics in the shade Always Spicy. Love this blush. And for highlight, I'm taking my Makeup Forever highlighter, and I'm just going to pretty much dip into both of the shades for my highlight for today. And then for lips, I'm taking the Urban Decay lipstick in the shade 1993. Okay, so this is the final look. I really hope you guys like this look as much as I do. I think it is so pretty, so different. I just really like how this came out. Now let's talk about the palette itself. So this is $16. All of the palettes on Shop Hush are super affordable. And I think if Tarte did, like if they would have came out with that palette, I think it would have been the same price as their Tartelette palettes. I think they were $42 or $49. But I do know this is a really nice one to have in your collection, even if you don't really work with colorful shadows. Like there are gonna be some times where you do wanna experiment color, or where you do wanna have that bright, bold, you know, blue color, or even not so much bright and bold, something that's just a pop of color. Like if you just want to pop it on the inner corner of your tear ducts or just blend it out on your bottom lash line. There are going to be times where if you want to create something different and just kind of dip into colors, you may want to have that blue or that green or that teal. And I think this is a really good palette to have in your collection for that. And now that I'm thinking about it, I think if Tarte did not fool us with that palette, like if they really came out with that palette, and of course Hush created the dupe to that palette, I would honestly say the one from Hush would have been a better buy, because this is a palette you don't use on a daily. This is that palette that you reach for if you need that one shade, that one blue, that one green, that one teal, just something that you would reach for very seldomly, like not all the time. So I'm kind of glad, well actually I'm really glad that Hush came out with this palette, because it's very affordable and you're not going to be wasting so much money on a palette that you're not going to be using on a daily, because I just don't think this is a palette to use on a daily, because you don't have those warm tones, you don't have those neutral tones. So I do think they did a good job with bringing this palette to life. Now some of these shades in here you are going to have to really work with, like this blue I am actually noticing as I'm looking in my mirror, but I don't know if you guys can see it, but the top of my lid, it looks like the blue is kind of fading out a little bit. So if you are going to use that deep dark matte navy blue, I would suggest priming your lid first. I did not prime my lids. I honestly don't even prime my lids ever when I do shadows, but all I did was apply a little bit of concealer on my lid and just, you know, blended it out. But I would suggest when using these shadows, like these shadows alone, I would definitely suggest priming your lids, or even if you want to use like a gel pencil, like the one that I use today. This is the one that I use for my bottom lash line. If you are going to want to recreate this look, I would definitely suggest priming the lids or using this all over the lid and then going on top of it with that blue shadow. So that way, you know, it can look more pigmented, it can look more deep, because right now it does look like it's fading away just a little bit. Now as far as the metallics, I used only one for today's look, and that is this bright icy blue. And I also use this one, but I wouldn't consider this a metallic shadow. It's very loose, so I would consider this to be like a pressed glitter. If you do use this shade, definitely wet your brush because it's gonna be flying everywhere on the face when you apply it if your brush is not wet. So I would highly suggest wetting your brush when using that shade. Now I can't really speak on the other metallics because I did not use those on the eyes today, but that shade right here is, you're gonna experience a lot of fallout. But yes, I think that is all that I have to really say about this palette. It is available right now, so if you are interested in picking it up, I'm gonna have the link down below for you guys. And yeah, I think that is all that I have for this video. So if you guys enjoyed it, make sure you thumbs it up for me, and don't forget to subscribe if you're not subscribed already, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.